What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video I am back in the world of Evergreen Harbor. I am not done with that world just yet. I hope you're not sick and tired of everyone building an Evergreen Harbor. But I mean, it is the newest expansion pack that we have, and I'm still just really playing around with all the new items that we have, and I'm still very excited about it. Just playing around with the new building styles that we got with this pack. So yeah, I'm not done with this world just yet. And I haven't really built any container homes either on my channel. So I know everyone has been doing container builds, but I really like to see everyone's different take on container homes and just everyone's creativity and what they turn the builds into. Like, it's just so interesting to see how everyone's creativity is different. So yeah, I wanted to sit down and build container homes. So I was really in the mood to play around with the flip side of eco lifestyle for this build and do something not so eco-friendly, something a little bit more filthy and gross and disgusting, if you will. So yeah, this build is definitely not very eco-friendly. And you will see that later on, but it is quite filthy. I was really having a blast cluttering this place up, and just the whole lot, actually, with all the the litter clutter that we have that came with this new pack. There is so much trash in the debug menu and I love it. Like, there is so much trash in there. And I have never actually built anything filthy like this, or anything that is just this littered, if that makes sense. So yeah, I have never done that before and I was definitely having a blast with it. It was so much fun. And I didn't realize, well, I mean, I realized it, but I just didn't really play around with all the trash in the debug catalog just yet. I knew it was there, but for my first builds, I was just really in the mood to build something eco-friendly and just clean up the neighborhood before I start building in it and stuff like that. Just make something very green and yeah, eco-friendly like I mentioned. But for this one, I was like, you know what? I am going to build container homes that are not so eco-friendly for this one. And I was really having a lot of fun with it. I mean, container homes by itself, they are pretty eco-friendly because, I mean, they're upcycled shipping containers. So that in itself is pretty good for the environment and yeah, very eco-friendly in that sense, I think. But yeah, I was thinking that that's not necessarily the reason why these people live in container homes. I was just thinking that the people that live here, they live here because it's cheap and they can kind of just live under the radar, if you will. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, these people that live here, they are definitely not eco-friendly. They do have lots of generators on their roof and stuff like that. So I was imagining that they are kind of, well, like I mentioned, because they want to be under the radar kind of. So they are off the grid and they do generate their own power and stuff like that, just to be, well, yeah, like I said, under the radar and not have an actual home in an actual neighborhood. Because what I was imagining for the storyline for these people, I was imagining that this house is for a father and his son. And what they do, the dad, he doesn't really have a job. I was thinking that maybe he used to be a truck driver. You'll see me placing down a truck on the back of the lot a little bit later on, which in my mind, that's like a broken down truck or something. But yeah, I was imagining that maybe he used to be a truck driver, but he just didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't want to drive around all his life anymore. He just wanted to kind of settle down in a way, but he doesn't really have a proper job either. So I was thinking what he does is he drives down to the dump maybe 2 or 1 time a week, just a couple times a week maybe. He drives down to the dump and he collects all the stuff that he thinks he can kind of fix in a way and sell for a decent price or not a decent price. I don't really know how legit these people are that live here. Yeah, I was kind of just imagining that, like I mentioned, he runs down to the dump a couple times a week and collects every item that he thinks he can still fix and that he can still sell. And there is also lots of tires around, so I was imagining that this guy, he would also just kind of fix your car for some sort of price if you pay him in cash, you know. Like, I don't know if these people would really like pay their taxes, and yeah, I just don't know how legit these people would be. But yeah, that's kind of the sort of family that I was imagining. So I was just thinking that it's the dad that does that, that work kind of in a way. You can see that I cluttered up the back of the truck with a bunch of junk, basically, that he maybe got from the dump, and that's items that he still needs to fix. And yeah, that's just kind of the sort of person that I was imagining this dad to be. And like I mentioned, I was thinking that he could be living with his son, so I did furnish this place for 2 people. Yeah, I was imagining that he's living with his son, and his son is kind of the same way. Like, he is definitely going to turn out to be the same kind of person as his dad. So the son, I was imagining him to be a teen, and he doesn't really always go to school. Like, he goes to school whenever he feels like it, and his dad is like, yeah, you know what, that's fine by me. If you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. It's your own responsibility. But I don't think that his dad really thinks that school is all that important, and that he should just focus on how to make a living for himself, whether that's a legit way or not. Like, the dad, he just wants to make as much money as possible with doing as little work as possible, basically. So it's not necessarily a bad person, but he doesn't really pay his taxes, and yeah, like I mentioned, he's just not that legit. And yeah, he will fix your car and he'll sell you things, but yeah, they are definitely not nice things, and he is definitely not a professional when it comes to repairing cars and trucks and stuff like that. But he'll tell you that he knows everything and that he can fix it for you, and stuff like that. But in the meantime, he fixes your car with items that he got from the dump and tried to kind of more or less fix as much as possible, and then he fixes your car with that and tells you that everything is going to be fine, you know. So yeah, that's kind of the kind of family that I had in mind for this house, and that was a lot of fun because I have never actually done anything like that before. I've never built anything run down like this, and definitely not anything for a family like I just described. So yeah, that was something very different and something very fun to do. You can see that I moved on to the inside of this build, and I use the very filthy looking cabinets. I think they come with City Living, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not quite sure, but I think so. And then the rundown fridge and the rundown oven and stuff like that. And yeah, that was just really a lot of fun because, like I mentioned, I never really used those items ever. So it was definitely something different to use them in here. And yeah, it's really small. This house is very small. They don't really have a proper couch. I did give them 2 of those chairs that they maybe got from the flea market or something, or from the dump, you know. Pretty much everything in this house could be from the dump and kind of just fixed in a way. If it's fixed well or not, I mean, I don't think so. So yeah, that's kind of the sort of vibe that I was going for, and I'm definitely adding lots of clutter, lots of yeah, just trash basically inside the house as well. They do have, like I mentioned, a proper kitchen, but I don't really think that they use the oven all that much. I do think that they order food pretty much every day, whether that's like pizza or something else. I did add a pizza box on the countertop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was looking for one, but I went with the one that came with this pack, with the new expansion pack. And yeah, there's actually a bunch of kitchen clutter in that pack that is really, really fun. I don't think it spoils either, but because I think it's supposed to be the trash that's just laying around on the streets or in the streets. So it's not going to spoil, I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so. And I also added a couple of those fizz boxes or juice boxes up on that shelf. And yeah, I added this. I swapped out the TV that I had hanging on the wall, and I swapped it out for one of the ones that you can find in the dumpster as well, because yeah, like I mentioned, I just think that everything in this house basically came from the dump, because that's just the kind of people they are. They don't really spend any money on their interior because they don't think it's necessary. These people, they don't really care in what kind of house they live. As long as they have a roof above their head and they can sleep somewhere and, you know, have a toilet somewhere, then they're fine with it. As long as it's cheap and, yeah, there is not really any taxes to pay or anything, then they're okay. So they also share a bedroom. You can see that I moved on to the second floor, the container on the second floor. There is a proper bathroom in here. I mean, it's really stinky looking and really not that nice. It's very industrial. I use the toilet from Get to Work, which I don't think I've ever used that one. But it came in handy for this build because it was really the vibe that I was trying to go for. And yeah, you can see the bathroom. There's just a plain shower in there and just that sink that the dad probably kind of made himself out of old materials that he again found at the dump or something. So yeah, and they share a bedroom, the dad and the son. I was messing around with the layout for this a bunch because it was quite difficult to fit in a double bed, a single bed, and have that large sliding door. So I did swap out that sliding door for a different door because I also wanted there to be a proper dresser in here as well because I didn't have that just yet. So yeah, I was playing around with that a little bit but I really was set on using that double bed or that mattress. It's not really an actual bed. It's more of like a really dirty mattress, but I really wanted to use it. It came with Eco Lifestyle, but it was perfect for this pack, or for this house, I mean. So I really wanted the dad to have that bed, and I did scoot it against the wall, so there is, well, I mean, I think the scoot over trick works for everyone now. I think that's what I heard. So you could actually have 3 people living in here if you wanted to, but that's not what I was imagining. I was just imagining this to be for the dad and his son, and yeah, they don't really have any privacy in that sense. They just share a bedroom, but they don't really care about that. Like, they're not the people who really care about having their own space and having lots of privacy, you know? As long as they have a door to close if they are taking a shower, then that's all the privacy that they need, basically. That's what I was thinking for this family. Like, they don't really care. They don't really spend much time inside anyway. They're always outside. They're like looking for stuff, collecting stuff, trying to repair stuff, trying to sell things, you know, that's what they do mainly. And yeah, they are, like I mentioned, definitely not eco-friendly. So I placed down a whole bunch of generators on the roof. I don't know if that's enough generators for this lot to be actually off the grid. But I think so, I'm not quite sure. But you can always mess around with that or have it not completely off the grid. I mean, that's also a possibility, of course. But yeah, I didn't really want to place any solar panels or wind turbines or anything because those things are really eco-friendly, and I didn't want there to be anything eco-friendly on this lot, except for, I think, it's either the shipping container doors or wallpaper or roofing, I don't know, but one of these things is eco-friendly and the other one isn't, which is a little bit weird, but I think they are all supposed to be eco-friendly because, I mean, these are upcycled shipping containers, so I would think that that is very eco-friendly. So that's kind of the only thing that has a green footprint, if you will, on this lot. But yeah, definitely the rest doesn't have an eco footprint like that because there is lots of litter everywhere and yeah, just lots of trash everywhere, and those generators, like I mentioned, on the roof. So yeah, and here you can see I moved on to the inside, or to the outside, I mean. The interior of the house was really easy and really quick because it's very small and I didn't really have a lot of choices. I did add the recycling machine to this lot because it just really suited the aesthetic of this house. And yeah, I do think that these people kind of recycle in their own way, not really in an eco-friendly way, but they do recycle definitely. So I just thought it was fitting to place one of those recycling machines on the lot. And I also placed a dumpster here because yeah, it just fits right in and it comes in handy for these people, you know. So yeah, here you can see that I just cluttered up the place. There is so much trash everywhere and I really love the look of it. It's just something completely different and something I definitely did have a lot of fun with. So yeah. That's pretty much almost it for this build already. So you can't download this build off the gallery. I don't know why you would want to, but you could maybe just download it and turn it into something nice, something that is actually eco-friendly. That could be a fun idea. Maybe I'll even do that myself. But yeah, you can download this build off the gallery if you want to. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!